Hey guys, welcome back. Lucian here with you, like always, and I'm back for the conclusion and part 3 of the mechanism or processing system. So today we're going to be jumping into the top tier, the Mac Daddy of them all, the 5 times OR processing. So let's jump into it. So like always, I always show you an upgraded tier of factory. So this is the final tier, which is the elite factory. And remember I was talking about each tier you can add different levels. So this level right here is actually 7 processes at the same time. The advanced factory is 5. If we turn down the basic is 3, and of course the very first level is the 1. So very cool. Let me just grab that, throw that up into my space. And over here, just made a few changes, very minor. I increased the power of the turbine because this thing tears through some power. I mean, tears through it. So that's why this is a late game. It requires a lot of power. I added more of these electrolytic separators because the oxygen demand, I couldn't keep up with the oxygen demand. I also put in a gas tank right here. Over there on my next build, you'll see I put in gas tanks everywhere I can because that way it builds in a lot of buffer space, because your processing system is not going to be running 24/7. You're going to come and it's going to come through basically big hits where you're going to be processing a lot through, and then not so much for a while, and then you run your query or whatever again, and it's going to cycle and then not. So I definitely recommend you putting in gas tanks as much as you can. So just like I did there. And it looks like we're all good over here. So now let's jump over to this build. Get out of here, donkey. Go. Get out of here. Get off my stuff. So this is the system that I built for the 5 times OR processing. Looks a little confusing. Don't worry, I'm going to go over it with you at all, I promise. Just like always. Now I want to say a couple things. First of all, this is not the most efficient build. This is just way I put it down, and I try to lay it out very flat so it's easy to kind of go through each of the tiers. Secondly, you will find that when building this system, you're not going to be able to have just one machine of each type if you're going to want to run efficiently and quickly, because some of these machines are slower. So you're going to see that I built up a little bit more of some machines and a little bit less of some machines. That's all just based on calibrated eyeball and what I thought I might need, and just a little bit of experience. So here we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to be making crystals. Now the way we're going to make crystals is we're going to go all the way back to sulfur dioxide. Okay? To make us sulfur dioxide, we're going to put any type of sulfur in a chemical oxidizer. Now I have them right here. There's also a way to make Mekanism sulfur, so don't get too alarmed if you're thinking about it. You have to do a bunch of coring. You can make it. It's gunpowder, flint, gravel. I think the system I did was cobble to gravel, gravel to flint, flint to gunpowder, gunpowder to sulfur. I think I had an automated system, but I did. So we have our chemical oxidizer right here to turn sulfur into sulfur dioxide. So let's go. So that's going to feed through. I have built. Will you just get out of here? You're just in the way, my friend. So you can hear the machines running. So it's now putting sulfur dioxide here on this right side. Okay, so jump back a little bit. So now we need to take our sulfur dioxide and combine it with oxygen to get sulfur trioxide. So again, just some electrolytic separators. I threw in a gas tank just to have a little bit of a buffer. So now we have oxygen, sulfur dioxide in here, and we're making sulfur trioxide, which will be right here. Okay, so good with that. I know I'm jumping through just a little bit, but that's alright. So now we have sulfur trioxide plus water vapor equals sulfuric acid. Now to get water vapor, I am taking just a Ender-IO reservoir, pumping it into these rotary condensators, pumping it on the liquid side, and I have it on the decondensate trading setting. You can flip them back and forth here, and that's turning the water into water vapor. Now this also works reversed. If you pump in gas and flip this switch to this, it'll turn liquid into, or sorry, gases into liquid, which we might experiment at the end of this video, see how I feel. But I actually have, looks like 4 of them built in, because these machines are not quick. They're fairly slow. So I built in 4 of them just to speed up the process. And again, I have a gas tank because these are so slow. I wanted to have that little bit of buffer. Alright, so cool. So we have our sulfur trioxide coming out. Again, another gas tank. And so we now have water vapor, sulfur trioxide. Actually, turn off NEI for right now. That is going to make us our sulfuric acid. Sulfur trioxide, water vapor, sulfuric acid. Okay, so hopefully everybody's following with me. It's a little bit intimidating at first, but NEI does a good job of breaking it down, and hopefully this video as well. So again, gas tank as a buffer. So now we're going to pump in the sulfuric acid into chemical dissolution chambers. Okay, let me grab these. Now here's one of the suggestions that I have. So I built in 5. I don't know why I picked 5. 5 was just what felt right. If you choose to have one of these for all of your ores, your system is going to be incredibly slow. And what I mean by that, I'll put this right here because this is the only one that has power. Basically what it's going to do, so this one's going to be gold. So it's going to use the sulfuric acid and with the gold ore, and it's going to melt it into a slurry. So just like that. And it actually breaks it down into, I believe, 1,000 units. It does. Whatever you measure, whether it's going to be millibuckets or it's going to be whatever you want to call it. So I can't run more than one ore through here at one time. So if you want to set it up where you have one for each type of ore, which there's several different types of ores, then cool. If not, then you're going to be hitting a little bit of slowdown. So this kind of reinforces what I mean by this system may need to be improved if you're going to run, I think it's 6 or 7 different types of ores. Let me see. Let me just give you a real answer. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 7. I don't count obsidian. Because it's not really an ore that you're going to use for other machines, but if you want to make 7, 8, however you want to break it down, then you're going to have to improve this system to have a higher output of sulfuric acid, which means you're going to have to improve this system, all these systems back here. So basically you're left to your own devices and how crazy you want to build. Now this system can get quite big, and again, this is not the most base and compact version, but it's the best version that I think that you can look at it and kind of get a good idea what's going on. Alright, so let's give this guy some power. Let's give all these some power and let them all start running. So once they leave the chemical dissolution chamber, it now goes into a chemical washer. And basically what that chemical washer is doing is it's washing the gold slurry with water, so you need a water source, and turning it into a clean slurry. So why are you... What's wrong here? Oh, I know what's wrong. And then once that is done, it passes it off to the next machine, which is the chemical crystallizer. Basically, it takes the slurry, dries it out, does whatever it does, and turns it into these crystals. And you'll see one right here pop up. Okay, so let's finish giving this guy power. let it all start running. And what's going on here? Oh, I bet I know what happened. Yeah, that's right. I had these backwards. Yep. Easy mistake. Plus I did this kind of late at night too. Did this at like midnight last night, set this up. Okay. So now everything should be coming through and the slurry getting processed into crystals. So again, not a fast process, but remember we can actually have some upgrades. So let's toss in a few upgrades. Make it use a little bit more power, but speed this guy up. So that's much faster. But you can see we're backed up here on the chemical washer because we can't output any more to go in here. So pretty neat system. So then of course I have using Ender IO to send it to a dimensional transceiver, and the dimensional transceiver is now sending it over here to this factory, which is starting the 4 times processing of the shards, or what would be the 4 times processing. So the way this works over here, when it melts it into a slurry in this machine right here, it actually melts it into 5. It melts when it melts it down into a slurry, it melts it into 1,000 units. Okay, to make a, right, I'm just going to show you. See, every 200 units makes a crystal. So that's how we get our 5 times processing. So it's not that machine that turns it into 4 or 5 times processing. It's actually the melting process into a liquid and then crystallizing the liquid back into a solid form to be processed. Pretty neat. So that is 5 times processing. I'll get out of there. You can see, and I got a nice little indicator on here, kind of what you're processing through, which I like. That way, as you scale up this system, it can kind of keep you straight. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna leave you with a view right here, and I'm gonna show you one other cool thing that you may want to do. So let me build that up. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So I built a little contraption here that made a little bit of reference to. So I have a Mekanism dynamic tank here. Pretty cool. So what I'm going to do here is be like, you know what? I've processed all my ores through, and my system is just kind of in a standby state. You know, it's not really doing anything. So I'll get rid of this. Put you here. Okay. Are you pumping? What are you out of? You out of sulfur? Okay, no problem. 1, 2, 3. I should have checked this before I started recording, but you know how it goes. So basically what this system is going to do is I'm going to send in a liquid gas of sulfuric acid. It's going to, liquid gas, I'm sorry. It's going to turn in sulfuric gas into a liquid, store it in this tank, and then when I'm ready for it, or when I need it again, since you see how long the process is, I'm going to turn it back from a liquid into a gas and to send it to my system. So as soon as this system starts going, do you not have power? What's the deal? Why you have no power? It's odd. you have power now. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. I had it backwards. And that power meter is not rendering. That's why. So I'm now pumping in the sulfuric acid gas, turning into a liquid, and you can see I'm now storing the liquid sulfuric acid. So let me change this one as well. Let's and this one's going to be D. So nice little way, if your system's in standby, store up your sulfuric acid. So you can see I have coming up on 1 full bucket ready to go there. And when I'm ready to process some of my ores through, I just go flip. It's going to turn into liquid and then turn it back into a gas and send it to the rest of the machines. And when I'm done, just be like, nope, store you up. Or you can always leave this and just have this as a buffer tank to your whole system. So you don't even really have to have that redstone signal. Really, you're left to your own devices. You can kind of pick your own poison and how detailed you want to be. But there's lots of options. Again, Mekanism, favorite fun mod for this high-tech ore processing. But you need a lot of materials, need a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, but it's worth it. I turn that back off, and you see it's starting to pump back up. Pretty cool. So I will fly up, leave an aerial view right here so you can kind of look at my whole system and reference it if you need any ideas. Again, leave me any questions if you have them. Be glad to answer them. All my usual contact links are down below. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and I will see you guys on the next time.